Hello everyone, how you doing? We're back again to another class. Hello everyone, how you doing? What's good everyone? Welcome back again. So nice to see everyone. A happy weekend. My name is David. Welcome back to another stream here in this little hack week data. We're going to continue our series of creating your first dashboard with Next.js. Yesterday we learned a lot. We'll learn a lot about the fundamentals that we need to understand the development of dashboards with Next.js. Hi everyone. How one mountain? How low key are you? Low key are you? Is it pronounced? I don't know. But yeah, hi everyone. Welcome back again. So we're going to continue with that. Sorry if like there's a lot of movement with my camera. Was dancing here. Hi Andrew, still is so nice to see you back. So let's just start again. Let me share my screen and try to share the slides right here. Hi Faron, so nice to see you. Yeah, it is okay if you have some knowledge on JavaScript and TypeScript. If not, don't worry about it. We can cover it. We can cover like the fundamentals about this. So don't worry about it. It's just going to be fine. So yeah, I think you can see now those slides. Um, for you, Visayo, I can share again on the chat like the fundamentals that we saw yesterday. So we have two links in Replit that covers like the basic topics about JavaScript and TypeScript. So we're going to jump into that in a few minutes. So yeah, why don't we begin? Hi, mango are superior. Yeah, mango are superior. I don't know if they are like the best fruit. For me, mangoes are super good, but to be honest, like apples are my goat. Like green apples are the best ones. I like it like a lot more than red apples. I don't know why. I like it that they're not that sweet, you know. But yeah, mangoes are cool. I also like papaya. I know that not a lot of persons like papaya, but I love papaya. Also, we you put honey in like with papaya. Oof, that's like the best. So yeah, let's just continue with that. So if you don't know me, my name is David. You can call me David, where you want. Some persons call me Dave, other ones call me Nazaro. So I'm a coach here at MLH. I've been coaching like making streams and being a coach like for 1 year, 3 months or something like that. I'm also a developer, a software developer engineer at Aspen Tech. We're a company from the US that is based on Minnesota, I think, or yeah, I think so. I think they're in Boston or in Minnesota, but I don't know like the correct location. So yeah, we do technology for industries like electricity industry, chemistry, and things like that. I'm also working communities as a GitHub Campus expert. I love hackathons. Hackathons are my thing. I love helping persons to build their first hackathon or to help them to understand like the whole hackathon community. So it is super cool. I have a hackathon at the north of Mexico. Um, Called Beer Hacks. We're a real cool hackathon in Monterey. And if you have never been into a hackathon, I totally encourage you to get into Major League Hacking. Try to check out like the hackathon that they have, so you know that each weekend they have a lot of hackathons, and you can also use this little hack week to try to learn a lot of stuff. So I also was an fellow at the MLH Fellowship. So if you don't know anything about the MLH Fellowship, it is a really cool program that you can participate in any time of the year. You can apply for becoming a fellow in the MLH Fellowship. I was a fellow at Meta in 2022. And I'm also doing like more stuff like tech startup, research tools, and some other stuff. So if you want to know anything about like how to apply to becoming a GitHub Campus expert or things about hackathons, or if you want to know how to apply to the MLH Fellowship or getting into the MLH Fellowship, please send me a message on LinkedIn or some of my social media that I'm going to share right here. So this is my media. If you want to take a look into it, just send me a message right there, and we'll be yeah. think now you can see it better. So yeah, if you want to just send me a message, say hello, try to chat a little bit. Send me a message on any of my social medias on X or LinkedIn. And if you want to check out this repo that we're going to check out today, or any of the repos that we've been working around, take a look into my GitHub, David Lázaro Fernandez, and I'm going to share the repo that we're going to be using today. In a few minutes. But if not, let's just try to check out what we did learn or what we're going to do today. So yesterday we learned like the fundamentals. We learned how to use JavaScript, how to use TypeScript, what is JavaScript, what is Next, what is React. And today we're actually going to get our hands into making our first React slash Next.js application. So if you have never touched React or Next.js, don't worry about it. You're like at the best time to being here in this stream, because we're going to learn like all the fundamentals that we actually do need for doing our first Next.js application. So yeah, we have covered what is React, Next.js, TypeScript. We have learned basic JS and ES6, and we have learned basic TypeScript. And today we're going to learn what is the difference between React and Next, and some basic CSS, like pretty good structure, good practices. We're also going to learn something in CSS called Flexbox, and we're going to do our first homework on React and slash Next.js, and we're going to understand like everything that we need to do on Next.js to creating our first dashboard. Okay, so yeah, for those one that did not came yesterday or that were did not watch like the first session, don't worry about it. Basically, we just learned JS and TS, and if you want to take a look into that, I'm going to share with you this link of the replit that you need to open to try to learn everything that we check out yesterday. Basically, it is a replit that has all the stuff that we watched yesterday. It is like already commented. It has examples about how to export things like for loops, functions, hello world, if statements, and so on and so on. And the other one that I'm going to share with you is the TypeScript replit that we watched yesterday, also for trying to understand a little bit of the basics about TypeScript. It has some examples like the differences between TypeScript and JavaScript, also interfaces, also index.js, F1 examples, and so on, so on, so on. So yeah, let's just jump into continuing into getting our repo. So give me just 1 second until I open my GitHub. Mm-mm-mm. And yeah, so if you want to follow me, this is my GitHub profile. You can follow me with my with the link that I'm going to share you right here in the chat. Mm. And let's just jump into our repo. So this is the repo that we're going to be using today. It is called the Hackweek Next.js dashboard. We're going to use an independent environment called GitHub Code Spaces, so we don't have any kind of problems with dependencies, with variables, or and variables and things like that. So the only thing that you need to do, like right now, is to go into the repo. I'm going to share with you the link of the repo right here in the chat, so you can access to the repo right now. And we're going to also be starting taking looking at our first GitHub code space. So if you don't know what is GitHub code space, don't worry about it. Code spaces are virtual environments that allows us to make code. You can imagine it like a Visual Studio Code on your browser, and we're going to use it so we don't have any kind of problems with the dependencies, libraries, and things that we're going to be using today. All right. So once you are here in this part, just click into code. Probably you're going to take a look into local, but click on code spaces. So after clicking on code spaces, click on create code space on main, and a new window is going to be generated, and it's going to say something like creating your first code space and so on and so on. So while we wait, let me just read the comments. Happy years. Hi Loki, how you? Loki, yeah you. So yeah, let's just jump into this and try to start with this. So the first thing that we need to do is to try to understand what are we going to do. Mm, 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 mm. So give me just 1 minute until I open the documentation of Next.js, and there you go. So yeah, let me share with you the documentation of Next.js so you can take a look into the documentation. And so it is a BNB for Django. No, it is not. BNB for Python is different. Well, it's better if you take a look into it. Like code spaces are basically just like a Visual Studio Code, like a code editor that we have on the browser. But the cool thing here is that we have like our own Linux machine inside this. So let me just make a zoom into this so you can see it better. Let me know if that is enough zoom or if you need me to make more zoom into this. So I think this is enough. But yeah, let me know if you need more. You need to zoom it more, or to make it like um, with less. So yeah, as you can see here, this is our code space. Our code space has everything that we need. For example, we can see like the ports, we can see like consoles, problems, the previous consoles, and we have our own terminal. We can open different types of terminal. Like we can open a CSH, Bash, Fish, JavaScript debug terminal, whatever we want to take a look into. So yeah, basically it is a Linux machine. So we can just take a look into any kind of Linux code that you want to run. Like you can see the ls or cat readme.md. Oh, yeah, so you can see here that we can open things up. So yeah, pretty much it's just a virtual environment that it is on our browser. It is a code editor that we have in our browser, so we don't need to worry about like having problems with our Windows, Mac, or Linux machines in like our own local machines, you know. So yeah, let's just jump into the Next.js documentation so we can learn what is Next.js. Let me just zoom it a little bit more so we can try to understand what is Next.js, right? So Next.js is a React framework for building full stack web applications. You can use React components to build user interfaces and Next.js for additional features and optimizations. Under the hood of Next.js, also abstract and automatically configure tooling needed for React like building, compiling, and more. You don't need to understand anything about this. We're going to learn all the stuff that we need to learn today. So yeah, the cool things about Next.js is that Next.js is already built with things that React is not, because React is a library. Next.js is a whole framework that allows us to already make routing, rendering, data fetching, styling, optimizations, and also it is improved for support of TypeScript. Alrighty, so let's just jump into how do we install Next.js inside of our machines. So the first thing that we need is Node.js 18 or later. Our code space is already built with that, and we need just an environment like macOS, Windows, or Linux. So yeah, let's just jump into this. So the first thing that we are going to be doing is getting into our documentation, going to installation page, and just copying this thing with this button that is right here. And we're going to jump into our code space and getting here. We're going to copy on the command that we have just copied. We're going to paste it on our terminal, and we're going to have a message like, need to install the following packages, create the next app. So we're going to click uh, on Y. Wait, where's the Next.js page? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, sorry for that. I didn't pass you the docs, right? Thank you so much, Sandra, for passing me for sending the message. I totally forgot about that. So yeah, so after we install this, you're going to see that we have a message right here, like what is the project name. So let's just name it like Global Hack Week data dashboard. And would you like to use TypeScript? Yes, we want. We want Slim and we want Tailwind CSS. Would you like to use source directory? No. And an app router? Yes, we want. And would you like to customize the default import alias? No. And as you're going to just click on whatever your terminal puts you as default. So just click on just yes, yes, no, yes, 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 no. So by default, your terminal is going to put you like those words, so don't worry about it. The only thing that you need to do is to press enter like all the times. So it is going to use npm for installing all the dependencies that we have. So it is going to install React, React DOM. Next, it's going to install dev dependencies for Tailwind, S-Link, and some other things that we're going to be using. So once everything is installed, we are going to be taking a look into our whole project right here that has been just created. So let me just push these changes. So let me do project init, and let me push those right here. Let me confirm and push them into main. So if you're taking a look, if you have forked this repo or doing something like that, you can do git pull for pulling all the changes of the repo. So if we go here and we update like the things that we have in our repo, we're going to take a look into that. Everything has been created, right? Like our add public and all this stuff. So yeah, pretty much let's just continue with this. So as we can see here, a lot of the stuff is being created. The only thing that you need to care about is like three things. The first one, we have some folders that are like in a gray, like in a gray font color. Those ones are being ignored thanks to our gitignore file. If you have never used gitignore is a file that says to our to Git, I don't want to I don't want you to push this or to take care of these folders that are right here, like the Next.m or the node models, or if we have .m and a .m file, it is a good practice to also ignore your environment dependent environment variables. So it's basically just taking a look into which files to ignore and to not to take to track inside of Git history, or yeah, pretty much. So yeah, the first one is our git ignore. Git ignore is ignoring our node models. So you can imagine that node models are the files or the dependencies that we have from the packages that we have installed from Node. So remember that. So if you remember that we installed some dependencies like React, React DOM, Next, or all the stuff, we don't want to actually pass all those files to our Git history. We want just to pass something different. We want to pass the information about which kind of packages or dependencies are we going to be installing inside our project. And how do we tell that? For that, we have two packages, two files. The first one is package.json, and the other one is package.json. The one you need to take care of is the package.json one. As you can see here, package.json is basically a JSON that has all the information for the dependencies that we have inside of our project. So for example, we have name. The name of our project is Hagwig Data Dashboard. The version is 0.1.0. It is private. We have some scripts that Next.js already built for us, like dep, like build, start, and lint. These ones are scripts that actually execute some stuff that we don't care about. Like, well, we do care about. Like, for example, if we execute like npm run dep or npm build or npm run start and things like that, is going to execute the next command, like next dep. The next dep actually initialize a new server, our new local server that where we can actually see our app. So let's just take a look into that inside of our terminal. So if we run npm run dep, it is going to, npm's. Oh yeah, I'm not on my, so sorry for that. So yeah, we first need to get to move inside of our project. So let me just copy the data here, and we need to execute the next command, cd global data dashboard. If you have named this differently, well, just put the name of your folder, your project folder. And after doing that, let me just clear the console. So now that we are on Loghack Data Dashboard, we can just actually run npm run dep. And as you can see here, the next step is going to be called, and a new port is going to be open inside of our terminal, or I mean inside of our code space. So as you can see here, it is like an actual computer. We can open ports and things like that. So how can we see that? There's one tab that says ports. So if we jump into ports, we're going to see that the port 3000 is being opened. And we have like the port direction or like the whole URL where we are opening this. So there's one icon that is like a web icon. So you can click on that, and this is going to open a new window, and that window is going to be connect. Well, our code space is going to try to connect to our new port. So you can see here, we have already created our first like main page of Next.js, and it is built with some stuff that we're going to be using today. So there are some examples. There are some important links that you can take a look into, like the documentation, like how to learn Next.js, some templates that Next.js have already for us, and how to deploy our first project so we can deploy it to Vercel and so we can share it with everyone on the internet. So, all right. So again, what did we do? So we went to our terminal. The first thing that we did was moving to our project folder that is global highway data dashboard. So we did that by just doing cd, by executing the next command cd and the name of your. Let me just add something like name of your folder project. So I'm going to share all the commands that we are using on the chat. And the other one that we used was npm. Once we are on the project folder, we're going to run npm run dep. And with that, you should be seeing that the port has been already initialized. And after that, we went into the ports tab and we saw that the port 3000 was open. And after that, we went into this button and just clicked into that. And like magically, we have already an web application being run in our server, right? That our server is our code space. Alrighty, so let's just continue with this. All right, so we were taking a look into our package JSON. So as you can see here, we have like a whole section where the scripts are being. How does running npm run dep relate to our package JSON file? It relates because we have this part right here, like we have a section called scripts. In our package JSON, we can have our own scripts that those scripts basically execute a command inside of our terminal. So remember, this package JSON tells npm, that is our package manager of Node.js. I don't know if it is independently from Node.js. Let me take a look into npm. npm bond. Yeah, I think npm is like our npm. Let me take a look. Yeah, npm is our package manager for it's our package manager for Node.js. So it takes care of helping us to download packages from the internet, like I don't know, like uplink, like Cache, like Yarn, and things like that. We have different kinds of package managers. npm is not the only option. We have also Yarn, for example. Yarn is another um, Jar is another type of package manager. Uh, Both of them are package managers for Node.js, and it allows us to download packages from the internet. Alrighty? Okay, so let's continue with this. So what I wanted to say is that we are actually telling npm, hey, npm, please, like this project is going to have the following custom scripts for my project. So if I want to run something, if I execute npm run, and if I use any of these words like build or next or dep, if I run npm run dep, the following command is going to be executed inside the terminal. So if we build like a more complex more complex command, like something like ts node that response file blah 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 blah, I don't want to type the whole thing. I just want to have uh, my own scripts for that npm can understand. So I'm saying hey, if I run that, I want you to run this whole command, okay? So we can do our own commands, like we can customize everything that we want. So if I do something like type check, or like if I want to do, I don't know, um, test is going to call Jess, and Jess is going to be watching this, blah, blah, blah. We can do whatever we want to do. But the cool thing about this is that we can actually tell NPM, hey, I want my own custom scripts or my custom commands. So if I execute the word dev, I want you to execute this whole stuff. Ready? Ready. So let's just continue with this. Let me just get everything how it was. And alrighty. So yeah, as you can see here, we have our own section of scripts, and we can tell NPM what we want to do. We have another section called dependencies. Dependencies are the packages that we have inside of our project. So this is real cool because if we, for example, if you go to GitHub and you pull like the whole repo, the repo is going to have already our package JSON. So you don't need to install one for one of the dependencies inside of our project. We have already all the dependencies right here. So if you execute npm install is going to install all the dependencies and the dev dependencies that we have right here. So that is really cool. It is like the 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 requirements.txt that we use on Python. So if you come from a Python background or something like that, it is real similar to the requirements.txt that you execute with pip, like pip install and the requirements.txt command. So yeah, this is our package JSON, and it allows us to manage all the dependencies that we have inside of our project. So cool. What else is here? There's a lot of stuff that you don't need to care about like today, but if you want to take a look furtherly, I totally encourage you to take a look into what next config is and what is this post CSS thing, what is tailwind config, etc., etc. Alrighty. What we are going to take a look is to public. Public is the folder that we use for handling all of our assets that we have right here. So for example, we have our FPGs that we're using right here. So it is starting the Verso logo and the Next.js logo that we have right here. So for now, don't worry about it. We're not going to take a look into that. Well, we're going to take a look if you want to add some assets. If you want to add some assets, am I supposed to write? So I don't know if you mean like whenever you install like a new dependency or something like that, um, that if you need to do it by yourself. When you install a new dependency, like if we install something like, I don't know, if we install, let me think of our dependency. I don't know, if we use Bootstrap or something like that, or npm. Uh, can you give me a little bit more of context? I don't know what are you talking about. Uh, um, yeah, I think we have already cleared this out. What it says after executing npm run dev and it stops in ready without compiling, what should I do? If it is stops in ready and compiling, it's when you're trying to access to a page. So for example, if we try to access to a page that is not the root page, so for example, if like this page is our root page. It is the one that we're taking a look like the base root. And when I'm talking about root, I'm talking about I don't know, like for example, if you go to Instagram.com, the root page is going to be your feed. But if you go to your profile, if you click into the profile icon, it's going to be changed to the name of your profile. So for example, mine is going to be something like um, David L or something like that, right? Like Instagram.com. So you need to go for running your page. You need to access to your actual. Um, you need to actually go into ports and going into your port 3000 and then open the page of it, and it's going to try to compile your whole page that you have in your root. And it's yeah, it is going to be it is going to start compiling. Yeah, thank you so much, industrialist. Um, okay, it is put into zone. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it is written in its own when you install any package that you want. Alrighty. So let me just go here into again into our code space and let's just jump into public. So yeah, again, like public folder, it is the folder that we use for handling all our assets. So if you want to put a new image inside your page or something like that, you should put it inside your public folder. Next.js already knows where the images are or is supposed to be known. So you don't need to worry about like handling images for assets inside your project. So let's just jump into the most important folder that we're going to use today, which is app. The app folder is the one that actually renders our is actually compiling our whole app. So we have a lot of files right here, like tab icon, which is the icon that we have inside of our page. So if you open a new tab, you're going to see that this icon is displayed next to create next app. We have global.css. That is some CSS that we have right here, like layer utilities, body, and things like that. You don't need to worry about anything of that. We're not going to touch anything of this, I think. The other one that we have is layout.tsx, and as we can see here, there's a lot of things going on right here. You don't need to worry about this page either, only if you want to change the title of your tab. So for example, instead of create next app, I'm going to change it to Go Highway Data dashboard. So with this, this should be changed already. And pretty much all the stuff that we have here in layouts, we're going to see it later, but currently we're not going to take a look into it. The most important one that we have right here is page.tsx. Alrighty. So as we can see here, we have a lot of stuff going on. A lot of tailwind is being displayed. So all these things that you're seeing right here is basically tailwind CSS being run for each one of our HTML tags that we have here. And all the stuff is the stuff that actually runs our Next.js basic page. For now, we're going to delete all that. We want to delete all this stuff. So I'm going to go here inside my page.tsx page, and I'm going to delete everything that we have right here. So I can just show you what do we have right here. Okay, so let me just click this and have something like this and have something like a hello world. And alrighty, hello world. And let me also delete this image. And now we go to our page, we're going to see that, okay, we have some problems right here. We do have to change our global CSS. Alrighty, so let me just put this foreground area, media, scheme dark, don't worry, on dark, and let me just put this, um, sorry, we don't want this, and okay, I think yeah, now we are normal. Alrighty. So yeah, let me just update my changes right here in the Git. Let me push it. Uh, um, let me push this as changes in CSS. Let me push this and permit changes. So yeah, pretty much what we did is that Next.js comes with some global CSS that the framework uses. So for now, don't worry about it. If you want, just pull the changes that I've uploaded. But if you want to understand what we change, is just changing the color of the foreground and the color of the background inside of our root CSS tag. So if you don't know anything about this, don't worry, I'm going to explain it right now. But let's just jump into our page in the TSX. So if you came yesterday, you know that we took a look inside our some JS and TS that we built yesterday. If not, let me share again replets that we take a look into yesterday. So if you have just jumped into the stream, so you can take a look into it. So let me just pass it to you. So, alrighty. Yeah, let's just take a look into what we're doing here. So as you can see here, we're calling a new function called home. So home is a function that Next.js takes to try to render our root page. So this function actually return us something. And what is it returning us? It is returning us HTML. So if you have never taken a look into HTML, the only thing that you need to understand for now is that in HTML we have some different kind of text for rendering some things in the web and inside of our browser. So for example, if I add like a header, uh, right, if I want to add a header like hello global hack week, and I want to put after this header h1 tag that is like a really big word, like it's a tag that formats our elements for being like a title, like a title. So let's just change this to welcome to my dashboard. So if we go inside here, we're going to see that nothing is being like we have like hello world and yeah, welcome to my dashboard. But the problem is that we're not seeing any changes. Like this is supposed to be changing around, right? And why is that? It is like in that way because we need to apply some tailwind that CSS. Um, uh, I didn't see any port in the ports tab. So did you run your npm? Does the TXS indicate tailwind? No, it actually indicates uh, TypeScript component, but there are some things in React called JSX. That is something that we're going to learn today. Let me just change this to English. Let me search for JSX. Where's JSX? Yeah, pretty much. There we go. So yeah, the first thing that we're going to take a look is into JSX. JSX actually is a syntax for JavaScript that allows us to write HTML like markup inside JavaScript files. So this is cool because we actually can write up HTML and managing the HTML that we are using inside browsers, but with the help of JavaScript. So the JSX indicates basically that this is going to be a file where we're going to write HTML, but also we're going to support JS in the same file. And the TSX means it's the same thing, but with TypeScript. So pretty much this is the difference between a JS and a JSX file. JSX allows us to use HTML inside of our files and handling stuff with JavaScript. So pretty much the web had become complicated with the years. So we needed to have a new form to managing HTML without making it difficult. So JSX was creating to do that. And how we convert HTML to JSX, it is supposed to have some perfectly valid HTML, but if we want to add a new component or something like that, we're going to add a new function called export default function to do list. And with this, we can return something. And this something is supposed to have to be an HTML tag or something like that. So if you want to dig more into JSX, you can take it a look into it here. We're just going to see the basics. So the first one is that we for each one of the JSX that we are going to be building for each one of the functions or the component, you saw that we have to return something, right? This return something is a root tag. And when we're talking about root tags, remember HTML has some tags that we use inside the web, but each one of those tags opens and closes. So as you can see here, we have our div that it's open and then it closes up. For each ones, we have the same one. We open it on each one tag and we need to close it. So how you can differentiate it is that the closing ones have like a slash that closes that tag, and some other tags like image uh, have some don't have to have an opening one, but it actually closes itself. So yeah, pretty much this is the first rule of JSX. We need to have a root one. If we have a function that returns two HTML elements at the same time, it is going to explode, like the world is going to explode. Well, not that, but our computer is going to throw us an error that we are not actually sending something. But if you don't want to add an extra div to it, we can just have something called a fragment of React. So this fragment is this one is an opening closing tag, but we don't have to put a name to that tag. So yeah, pretty much that is the first and second rule. Close all the tags also. If you open an image, close it like this. If you open another li list item, please take a look into it, and so on and so on. And another rule is like differentiating from HTML. JSX actually uses camel case for everything. Like class for taking a look into CSS class in React, we use the word class name. On HTML, this is called class just. So if we do class, is going to refer a CSS class, but inside React we do class name. But as you can see here, we do camel case for this, and we refer to the CSS class that we want to do. So yeah, pretty much this. So don't worry about it. Like until now, we have just taken a look into the first principles of JSX. That is the whole thing or the whole principle of React. We're using JS for handling HTML components or HTML tags that we can actually use. Alrighty. So if you want to take a look into this, please go and jump into the link that I just shared inside the chat. So if you don't want to do this, or if this is your first time using HTML, take a look into this HTML documentation. And let me put this on English. There you go. And let me put it right here. So if you want to learn HTML, please take a look inside the HTML hypertext markup language documentation of Mozilla or MDN Web Docs. This is a really cool resource for learning everything that you need to do, or anything that you need to learn about HTML, like the prerequisites, how to create your first HTML tag, and so on and so on. So it is super good. It is super cool. Please take a look inside HTML. And yeah, let's just continue with this. So pretty much we're going to jump into our page again. So as you can see here, right where we at, we didn't have anything. We have just two words called hello hack week and welcome to my dashboard. But we don't have any kind of markup to this, right? So why is that? It is because we actually need to add some things to each one of these tags. So for making this a little bit prettier, we can use Tailwind CSS for adding rules to our CSS or adding rules to the styling of the HTML tag that we're going to be using. So for example, if we want to make this a little bigger, it is super easy to learn. We just need to type text and the size of the text. For example, I want to make it 3XL. And now if we go here, we're going to see that Hello Go Hack Week has been modified, and that our welcome to my dashboard word has not. So what happens if I go here and make this a little bit bigger? I want my text to be bigger. I just modified the size of the XL. So if I go now to class name, and if I add something like I don't know, text XL, and I want this to be in the center of my tab or my window, I'm going to say like text center, and I'm going to use the same thing for text center. Alrighty. So let me just format this document and go again here. And as you can see here, my Hello Global Hack Week and welcome to my dashboard have been just changed. Alrighty, so let me know if you can see these changes, or uh, if you were capable of doing that. If not, if you have some problems, please let me know inside the chat so I can help you. And so let's just continue with this. So as you can see here, we have a lot of stuff, and we have a lot of CSS rules that we need to know. But don't worry if you don't know anything about this. Cool thing that Tailwind does is to have a documentation, a really cool documentation that you can take a look into. And I'm going to pass it right here so we can take a look inside Tailwind. Tailwind is basically CSS, but making it easier, or making it yeah, pretty much is like a CSS framework that we use so we can make everything easier. So yeah, all of these words that we have just created are Tailwind attributes. So like in CSS, we can modify, like for example, the color of our text, the size of our text, the font family that we want to use, like how big we want a box to be, and so on, so on, so on. So we're going to take a look inside some CSS attributes, or some CSS attributes, and how do we write those attributes in Tailwind. And after that, we're going to jump into creating some other stuff. So what do you think if we start first by um, if we start by just doing like a card like this, where we have an image and we have some description and the name of the person and things like that. So we're doing that with the creator or the CEO of Versal, called Guillermo Roch. Guillermo Roch. Let me just share my tab right here. So as we can see here, this is the CEO of Personal and one of the creators of Next.js. So Guillermo is super cool. Actually, he's Argentinian. It is like it is like my goat, to be honest. I totally. I'm a big fan of Guillermo. But yeah, pretty much let's just use one of the Guillermo's images, and let's try to take a look inside the Next.js conference of Guillermo Roch. So we have an about, before starting Barcelona, blah, 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 and the description of the keynote. So let's just do that. Let's just create a card like the one that we're seeing right here in Tailwind. And after that, let's just add the Guillermo Roch description already. So we're going to make a card like this with Next.js, right? So let's just jump into here. So remember, this is the current page that we're seeing right now. And let's just jump inside our page, inside of our code space, sorry. And how do we do that? How do we create this card, right? So do you remember that I told you that React actually is based on components? So what is a component? A component is basically this, like what we're seeing this right here is a component. It is a reusable function that we can use, or a reusable, you can think of it like a JS and HTML combination that we can use anywhere inside of our app. And how we can create a new component is by, you can create it like however you want, but how we create components is with TSX directive. Um, Next.js and JavaScript needs to understand that the code that we're going to be using inside of our page is TSX code. It is a code that is going to contain JavaScript or TypeScript and HTML. So how we create components is by creating a new folder called components. And inside the folder, we are going to have a lot of components, right? So I like to do this, and it is for me a good practice to create a new folder, and inside that folder, I'm getting a random suggestions. We're going to check that in a few minutes, Kath. So just give me a minute to try to finish to explain how we create a new component, and after that, I'm going to jump with you. Okay? So right. So for me, it is a good practice. So for each component that you're going to be creating inside your project, to name it as the name of your component. So for example, let's just create a new component called card, and inside that component, let's just add a new file called index.tsx. And as you can see here, we have our component and we have our folder card, and inside that folder we have a index.tsx. So how we create a new function that we can export to other models inside of our project is by just doing const. Remember, we watched yesterday what const is. It is a type of variable that is never going to be mutated. It is immutable. It is not going to change like nowhere in any time. And so we're going to name it like const card is equal. We open a new arrow function, and we're going to return something, right? We're going to return a div that says card. Ready? Ready. So yeah, we can do it like this way. Another way to create it, this one can be like const card is equal to function, and this function is going to return something, and it's going to return a div. You can do it like however you want, and pretty much like that. For animations, is raw CSS better than table? Yeah, it is totally. Like if you want to create keyframes and things like that for handling animations, I'll totally encourage you to use CSS. But thankfully, we have a lot of libraries that have already built-in animations or make animations easier, like GSAP. Also, I think we can use 3GS for making 3D animations and things like that. So yeah, if you want, totally take a look inside animations with CSS. But for basic animations like hover and things like that, don't worry about it. Like Tailwind can handle it. But yeah, pretty much how we do this is like creating a new variable, and this variable um, is going to store a function, and that function is going to return us some HTML. Alrighty. So let me just. I like to do it like in this way. But for today, so now making it harder. Um, when we'll be studying about 3GS, I think 3GS we can take a look inside of it like in other time. I don't think we are going to take a look into 3GS today, but it is a really cool library for making 3D, for handling 3D objects inside your browser and using JavaScript for it. But yeah, for now, we're not going to take a look into it, right? Okay, so let's just continue. So as you can see here, we have our accounts card. It is already declared, but we want to use it in the page.tsx module. So how we do this? If you are going to use a lot of functions inside your project, you can do it by just saying export default const card blah 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 blah. But I don't want to do it in that way. I like to do like right here, export default card. In card is already named right here. We can see right here that it is a JSX element, and we can see that like the whole component if we hover just by it, right? And how do we import things on other models? Okay, we already saw how to export this component, but how do we import it right here? It is super easy. Like we just need to add the word import, and we need to name the name of our component. We know that it is card, and ultimately VS Code is going to follow code spaces. Sorry for all the noise. Like I don't know why it feels like F1 today. But yeah, VS Code helps us to already import things from components. So as you can see here, card is already being imported. And why do we use card? Is because we already have like an index for it. We already have like an index for importing card, like right here. But if we go to, let me just components part. Yeah, we don't actually use the the whole folder, the whole file direction, because we have something called index that we have called our file as index, and index actually in on HTML takes care to. Why do we say export default card instead of export card? Okay, that is a really cool question. Let me just answer it right here. And after that, I'm going to jump again to page.csx and how do we import things. All right? Okay, so why do we do it like that way is because as you can see here, we're actually just having one function right here or a constant called card, right? But what would happen if I add more stuff right here? What would happen if I had my const, another const called elements for card? This is going to be a function that is going to have, I don't know, like, for example, list item or something like that. No, I'm sorry, like an order list. And inside this order list, I add like some items. As you can see here, if I want to export this, I will need to add some other stuff, right? So I have two functions or two concepts that I'm having right here. But if we just want to export the card function or the card, yeah, like the card function, I'm just going to do it by default, right? So if I want to export by default just the function card to any part of the project that imports the card, the card component, I'm just going to import it, export it by default, the function card. So I don't know if that explains like or answers the question, or if I make it like a lot difficult. But let me know if you have still problems with it. Um, okay, but cool. So let's just continue with this, right? So now that we imported our card component right here, let's just use it. And how do we use components? It is super easy. It is like a new HTML tag that we can use right here. We can call to our card component that is going to actually be pointing at our card function. So we have our card function right here that says h1 card, right? Let me just delete this one right here. Yeah, let me do that right now. So I created a div inside in index.tsx and it says can find div. Try to update and refresh your code space. Just go inside your browser and reload the page, and probably that is going to help you. Um, but if not, um, yeah, probably just need to refresh your code space. Sometimes TypeScript messes up like with the code. I don't know why, but that is super common. Don't worry about it. Just try to refresh the page. Oh, you're using VS Code. Try to close and refresh your folder window. Uh, if not, and if you are having problems, it can be a lot of stuff. I don't know if probably it is the TypeScript version that you have installed or something like that. That is why we use code spaces for not having like different kind of troubles at the same time. But yeah, yeah, probably that can be like the syntax. Remember that dips need to be open and closed like this. I'm going to share it on the chat. Yeah, remember that all the tags that you're going to be using need to be open and need to be closed. As you can see right here, we have this zip open and this zip closed, and also the H1 and H1. So just check out three things. Try to refresh your VS Code. After that, yeah, try to refresh your VS Code. If not, try to check the TypeScript version. If not, try to check your syntax. If nothing of that works, to be honest, I don't know. And because I am not on your machine, I'm not able to help you. Sorry for that. But yeah, let's just continue with that. So we were talking about our card right here, right? So if we go inside of our page, we can see that we have a card like this, but we want to create something more like this card that we have right here. So let's just try to do that. So how do we create our card and or some element like this? So I'm going to let me think of it. So yeah, I was thinking about how to have like, oh yeah, I know. Let me just make a screenshot of this and let me save this right on my machine. Or let me open code spaces. Let me uh, open my files explorer, going into pictures and opening screenshots, and I'm going to put my card image right here in public already. So I was just thinking about how to share the picture, and after that, opening a new tab for this, right? So we can do it by just dividing here to the right and also having our index right here. So pages, how can we have 5 minutes breaks? Yeah, we can totally have that. So it is 2:05 for me. So what do you think if we watch us again in just 5 minutes? Alrighty, so let's just try to have a 5 minutes break, and after that we'll be back. Righty, so let's just do that. Hello, everyone. We're back. What is going on, everyone? Do you have a glass of water? Do you have light? Do you have fruit? Do you just eat an apple, right? So yeah, let's just continue with this. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so looks like a lot of hackers are helping you, Kev. I hope that you're able to solve that problem. If not, I really like the Jupiter Jupiter Shoulders answer. Please, if you want, and you can try to just open a new GitHub code space and try to just pull the code that we're using. And after pulling the code, just run npm install, and everything should be cleared up. Righty, so yeah, let's just continue with this and how we can create our card image that we have right here, right? So we want to create a card like this, where we have like an image at the left and something at the right. So for doing that, we need to learn something called Flexbox. Uh, yeah, so if you have seen the memes about how to center a div, this is super easy, don't worry about it. uh, we need to understand first Flexbox for doing that. So the first thing that we're going to take a look into is to CSS tricks and try to understand how to center a div like Industrialist says. And the first thing that we're going to take a look is into Flexbox. So if you want to read the background to it, if you want to read the basics of the terminology, don't worry about it. The thing that you need to understand is that HTML is like boxes. So the thing that HTML helps us to do, or like Flexbox helps us to do, is to actually have a way to center things or to try to handle things with of these boxes, and having a really easy way of handling how can our browser center all this stuff at the start, at the end, at the center, bottom, top, etc., even if we want to do it evenly and help all these resources that Fluxbook help us with this. So the first property that we're going to actually take a look is to how to actually apply the Flexbox tools to our div that we're going to have right here. So I'm going to go inside of our code so we can understand how to do this. So let me go again to my code. So we're going to have two elements. The first one is going to be an image, and how Next.js handles image is by having a component called image that we want to import right here. Import image, uh, image from next image, and we are going to have a source. That source is going to be the name of our photo, which is card.png, and we're going to have it right here. And also we need to pass some properties to this. Those properties are the size of our image. For example, I want my image to be 300 maybe by a height of 300, so I have it like a square. And other one that another thing that we need to add is the alt. That alt is like the description of the image. Like this is an image of the founder, the CEO of Versal. And this text actually helps our browsers, or I mean, to our search engines and to our page to actually understand what actually is this image displaying. This helps us to make. I'm sorry, my nose is killing me right now. I don't know what is going on. Sorry for that. But yeah, basically, all helps us to say, for example, for a person who have vision disability or things like that, to actually help the tools that actually help to describe what the browser or the page is displaying. Like, for example, those tools, those accessible tools that read your page or something like that. When those tools came to our image, they are going to display this description. This is an image of the CEO of Vercel. So that is why we are using the alt one, right? But actually, if we want to, for example, display this like a, I'm sorry, if we wanted to display this like a black and white image or something like that, we can use CSS inside this component, like the same image tag of HTML. So how we do that is by using class name, and we're going to use some CSS for doing that. But for now, I don't care about it. What I care is to add the other part that is going to be another div, and this div actually is going to have a description, and we can do that description by a p tag, which is going to be description. And we're going to use another one like the name. This name is going to be the h3. It's going to be the name, and we're going to have another p, which is going to be the role of the person, right? So alrighty, so now we have our current boxes right here. If we go to our page, we're going to see that nothing actually is going to be displaying. Where's my page? Next to flash. Where's my page? I cannot find this. Source. Where's my page? Okay, nice. So right, we have our image of the card that we are actually trying to see. We have the description and the name. Oh, and yeah, actually this needs to be the image of Guillermo, right? So let me just save the image of Guillermo and put it on the repo. Let me put it right here. Headshot of Guillermo, and it's going to be the image of Guillermo. That JPG, right? So let's just change this to Guillermo, the JPG. And let me share my tab so you can see Guillermo.jpg. So let's just continue that by checking out our page. So you can see if it is displaying. So yes, it is. We're seeing like the image of the Guillermo right here. So now that we have this, let's just try to apply some CSS so we can understand how to center all the stuff so it takes out, so it looks more like the card that we're actually trying to display, right? So again, let's just jump into Flexbox. So how we actually display the Flexbox class here is by adding a class name right here and adding the word flex. And we want this to be an actual, and like a column, like the right part of this part, right? So how we do that is by saying, hey, I want that every element that is being displayed to be like a column. So as you can see here, we like columns are boxes that are one each other, right? So we want to do that. So what we do is to do flex, to type flex all, is to apply flex call. So now every item that we have right here is going to be displayed as a column like this. And how we actually can implement the how we see the information is by adding a new sorry for that, is by adding more CSS to this, and we actually need to apply Flexbox to our main div, and we need to center everything, right? So how we center this is by first applying FlexRow to this, and FlexRow is going to make that the direction of the elements to be displayed are on a route size, like from left to right, and flex code is going to be from the top to the bottom, right? So we add flex row, and now how we center things is by just saying, for flex row, we have some things called justify. Justify actually takes care of handling how elements are being displayed horizontally. So we are going to add justify center. So all the elements are aligned on the center horizontally. And now for taking care of item or of the how the elements are being displayed vertically, we're going to justify, items center. All right. So we want to do the same thing for this. Because this is flex call, the items that are being displayed on a column direction are treated differently. Like when we are applying columns, the justify word actually is going to change to be handling how items are being displayed vertically instead of horizontally. So we're going to do that, justify center in items center. But in this case, center, items is going to take care about horizontally and justify vertically. And when we are displaying items on flex row, the items are going to be treated as horizontally, and justify is going to take care of just items horizontally, and items is going to take care of elements vertically. So yeah, I know it sounds super weird. It is. Don't worry about it. You can take a look inside the CSS tricks blog so you can understand a little bit more. I like to explain by displaying how we are doing all this stuff. So let's try to check out how everything is taking a look. So ta-da! Everything is now a little bit more ordered or something like that. But we need to add more stuff here. We actually need to get inside our tab right here and add more stuff. Like for example, we have like the the image is on in a grayscale filter. So for adding that, we need to add a class name here and say gray gray. I think it's 100 or I think we need to add filter spawn justify. Oh yeah, thank you so much, justify. Thanks so much for taking a look into that. So yeah, how we handle the grayscale filter is taking a look into like how Tailwind actually handles that, and how it handles that is by saying grayscale 0 or grayscale active, right? So you can imagine that grayscale is do not apply black and white filter to this, and grayscale is applied, please. And we have another word called filter. Sorry, filter. For example, adding sepia filters or adding grayscale filters. There's one word on CSS, on vanilla CSS called filter, and with this filter we can add all these filters that we are seeing, like sepia or grayscale and so on. For now, the only thing that you need to worry about is that Tailwind doesn't do that. Tailwind just uses like the word grayscale. So we're going to apply it to our actual image that we have right here. So we're going to say it's grayscale. And for these words, we want some of them to have some space, right? So how we add a space to these items is by adding something called gap. And we are going to add some level 3 gap to this. There's one cool extension that is on site VS Code called Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. It is super cool. I really like it. I'm going to install it right here. How you can do it is going here to this button called Extensions, searching Tailwind, and just click inside Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. So now we return here and we go inside of our index.tsx of card. And if we want to see actually how much space gap3 is actually applying, we go here, we're seeing that gap3 is applying a gap of 12 pixels for each one of the items that we have right here, right? And also we need to add like a border to our box, so we can do it by saying border border. Was it border width? I don't remember it, to be honest. Let me check out the Tailwind documentation. If I just search border width. Oh yeah, there you go. Border 0 and border 2. I'm going to add a border 2 to this, so we can see like the borders of our box. Border 2, and border color is going to be border gray 100, and I think that's it. We should be seeing like the changes right now. Alrighty, it is actually this being displayed, but it looks kind of rare, right? Because like we're using the whole space for this. And yeah, I know this is weird. So let's just add a property of max width to this. So max width actually takes care of how like which one is going to be the maximum width that our card component can take. So let's just add max width by saying max W, and we're going to search for something around I don't know 100 pixels. So this is adding, yeah, like a max width of 200, like 288 pixels. But actually on Tailwind, we're just typing max W 72. And let me just take a look to this. So as you can see here, we have the image of Guillermo, but now we don't have enough width because the image of Guillermo is super big. So let's just add more space to this. Let me go again here and add something like max W and I don't know, something around 96. Yeah, something like that. So now we go again right here, we have more space, but again, the image of Guillermo is super big, so we need more space, right? So how we can, but if we go here to Tailwind documentation, like the maximum number that we have is 96. So how do we add more, like a custom number that we want? So we can do that by just adding like how do you call this? Is it this is not brackets? Oh, what's it called? Are these brackets? Oh my god, I don't know the name of this. Square brackets. Thank you so much. But yeah, we're going to use something around 550 pixels or something like that. And now we go back here. It is not enough. I think we need to use something like 700 pixels maybe. Yeah, there you go. So we have enough space right now, but then we have a problem. We're seeing that this part of the flexbox that we have right here is not displaying correctly. It is displaying the it is being displayed at the start of our box, right? So let's just center that by going here again to our code and doing just fly center item center get tree flex go flex row just fly item center virtue, and let me take a look into this to try to see where this is going on. I think it's because of the width of the div, maybe. Yeah, I think it is. Let me just add some width to this to 100%. Yeah, there you go. Nice. So yeah, we need to add more width to this. So how we do this is by going here inside this div and adding a new W, but instead of this, we're going to say full. This is so the box uses 100% of the space that we have inside of our component like this. So cool. We have the the Guillermo card, but we need to put information right. So what do you think if we go into the Next.js speaking the Next.js comp Guillermo card, so we can uh, copy the keynote information, come back right here, and changes to the description. And let's just add some space to this because we're using a lot of space. Yeah, XJS comp is kicks off with Guillermo Roach. Do this like this. The name is Guillermo Roach, and the role is CEO of Vercel. Vercel CEO. Okay, cool. But actually, we see that, for example, here, Guillermo is should needs to be on blue. So let's just apply that color here. Let's just do text blue 100, for example. I think no, we need more 400 maybe. Yeah, text blue 400, and let's mix these a little bit um, light color. So we're going to use text gray 300, for example. No, we need something darker. Yeah, like that. And now if we go to our page, we're going to see that we have all the information that we want right here, right? But there's a problem, like we don't have enough space for all the angles that we have in each one of the corners, right? So how can we solve this is something called padding. We are going to add padding to this so our whole div that we have right here, all the information, has enough padding. And how do we add padding to this is by going here into our code, going into the CSS or Tailwind part and adding P, and let's just add a P4. Let me take a look into it to try to see if this is enough now. We need more, like P8 maybe. Yeah, with P8 is more than enough. So yeah, and we're going to add padding, a padding of P8. And now we go back to our page and we take a look inside our card. We're going to take a look inside that we have just built a Guillermo Roche card, but okay, we have handled this, but now what happens if I want to add multiple cards to my page? For example, I don't want just like the Guillermo information. I want a lot more information about it. So because we can use TypeScript for, because we can use JavaScript for this, we can actually build an array of information. So we can use information about this right here, right? So let me just uh, go here into our code space, and because we're importing a card component right here, we can actually have multiple cards of these, right? We can actually have multiple components that have multiple cards, and then we can render multiple cards inside our page. But the cool part comes when we add some specific properties that our component can add. So before doing that, let me just add some format to this document. Let me close this, and let's create of a new array of objects called const speaker information. And this is going to be an empty array that is going to have an object, and that object is the, oh yeah, thanks so much. Thank you so much to the code spaces. Oh wow, it knows Lead Robinson, and let me take a bit of a Sukiri, for example. This is CTO, for example. And I don't know, hi Deva, you are cool. And yeah, pretty much we have already our object created. Our array of objects created. Each one of these arrays have information about the speaker, the role, the description, and the most important part is that we need the image of the speaker, right? So let me add another part, like another element to our object called image. And let me just copy and paste this to each one of the, oh my God, what did I do? To each one of the speakers that we have right here. Let me add a comma right here, add an image, add another comma right here, and an image, a comma, there you go. So now we need to find the images of each one of our speakers. So for example, we have Lee Robinson. Let me check out for Lee Robinson. Mm, Lee Robinson, let's try to check out the page of Lee. And we have some images right here. Lee Robinson, Next.js. Okay, we have an image of Lee. No, this one, not this one, right? So let me just download this image and upload it to the repo, and let's do that for Delva too. Delva, Next.js. Let me search for an image of Delva, and I think it's this one. Let me try to check out. This is Delva, but I don't know the full name of Delva. Mm-mm-mm. Trying to take a look inside. There you go. There you are, Delva. Okay. So let me just download the image of Delva. Now let's try to go inside of our code space. Let me add the images of Delva Ali right here. So we have the image of Lee. Let's just change this to Lee, and let's just change the Delva image to Delva. And let me go inside my page. Now let me add the Lee image and the Delva image. And this is actual Delva. And let's add some information about Delva right here. When learning, blah, blah, blah. Let me check the description to this according to the original Delva page, and it is developer experience at Versal already. So let's add the position, developer experience at Versal, and there you go. So, okay, we have an array of objects with some properties that we have right here, but how do we actually pass those properties so our component can understand what kind of properties are we going to pass? So this is the part where we are going to use TypeScript, and also we're going to use some TypeScript elements that we can use inside our components. So remember that this is a function. Okay, so because this is a function, our function can actually receive arguments, right? Like I'm going to receive a name, that this name is going to be a string, a role, and a description, and the image, that all of these are strings, right? And all of these are going to receive this kind of arguments, and how we can actually use those arguments is because we're going to have, for example, instead of using source, I'm going to use the name of the variable that I want to use. So for example, I'm going to replace this with image. I'm going to replace this thing with description, and I'm going to replace this with role with name. And finally, this one with description, with role, sorry. And let's just format all of this stuff. And again, the only thing that we did right here is, okay, we know that we are exporting a card, that actually card is a function. So because this is a function, we can actually receive arguments, right? We can actually receive all these arguments. So we can say that this function is going to receive 4 arguments: a name, a role, a description, and an image. And we know that all of these ones are strings. So we're going to do that, and we're going to replace uh, the text that we had with variables. So how we can use a variable inside HTML, or yeah, any HTML tag, is by opening a new bracket, and inside that bracket we can actually access to the variables that we are actually having inside of our file. So as you can see here, I open a bracket and I use image. I'll be open a bracket and I use description, name, and role. So we go back. If we go back again here, we're going to take a look inside how can we pass that, right? So all of these ones, all of these arguments that we are actually receiving are called properties or props. So how we can explicit which kind of prop are we going to be using. You can see here that we have an error because we're not passing the properties. We're going to say like, hey, with this card, I want you to use each one of the properties, right? Like the first one is name. It's going to be equal to the name of that person, right? But actually, we want to do that, or we want to apply this for each one of the properties that we have inside of our speaker information array, right? So how we can do that is that we can actually call to we can actually use JavaScript inside of our HTML, like opening a bracket, and we can access to speaker information, and we can actually call map. And remember the map function that we watched yesterday? If not, map iterates or executes a function that is going to be executed for each one of the elements that we have inside of our speaker information array. All right. So we're going to pass an argument to this function. That this argument is going to be a speaker, and this speaker is going to be passed as an argument, and our function is going to return something. It's going to return a card with the name of each one of the speakers that we have right here, right? And what happens here is that Speaker, role, description, image. Okay, give me just 1 minute because I don't understand why this is not working out. Mm, so, okay, we're calling the speaker, and the speaker is calling a new function that is going to return part. The name is speaker. What is going on? So, okay, give me just 1 minute until I understand what is going on here. Okay, so we're using what? Is this type name is string, role string, description string, element is not valid, J6, element type. Oh yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, I totally forget about this. We actually need to pass this. No? Oh, then what is going on? I think I'm missing something. So we have this one, and it says target signature provides fewer arguments. Element cannot. Yeah, card is actually imported right here. Then what is going on? Blah blah blah. It's type name, string role, description string element is near bullet, JSX element type. Oh, is it because we're not passing this as a interface? Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't forget about that. Yeah, we actually need to pass this instead of being this, we need to open a few brackets and try to describe this already. Yeah, I totally forget about that attachment. But yeah, how we actually pass props is by opening a first bracket that we have right here, and the bracket is going to have the properties that we're going to pass. There are going to be name, role, description, and image. And after that, we need to open a new bracket where we actually describe which type of, which is going to be the type of each one of the variables that we're receiving or the properties that we're going to be receiving, right? So we have the first one where we declare the variables, and then we do a semicolon that opens a new object or a new array. No, yeah, a new object brackets. But yeah, basically it's an object where we describe the type of each one of the properties that we're going to be receiving. And with this, alrighty, everything is working. Thank you so much, individualist. So let me just format out this again, and let me just there you go. And blah 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 blah. Let me just format this out. And yeah, pretty much we're saying, hey, okay, again, I'm sorry, I made a mess with my mind. But yeah, pretty much what we are doing here is just taking a look inside the speaker information, and we're executing the dot map function. And this map is going um, to create a new function that is going to be executed for each one of the elements that we have, or each one of the objects that we have inside of our array. So for the first array of Guillermo Mirage, we're going to say, hey, speaker information, execute please the function map. And for the first item, call the car component with the and pass the next properties. The property name is going to be fulfilled with the speaker.name. Role property is going to be fulfilled with the speaker.role, and so on for each one of the properties. And because card is actually a function, or is a component that actually stores function, that function returns something, right? And what it returns is HTML tags. So you can imagine that all this HTML is going to be generated in our page, and we're going to be actually returning all that HTML, but with the information of Guillermo, and then with Lee, and then with Delva. Sorry. So we go back to our page. We're going to take a look at that already. All right, we already generated like information about each one of the speakers, and each one of the speakers have already like the information about Guillermo, about Lee, about Delva, and so on, so on, so on, right? So the thing that we watched before that was how we can actually implement properties inside this function, and how TypeScript manages this is by opening a new object that is going to actually where we are going to actually declare the properties that we're going to be receiving, and then opening another object where we're going to describe the type of each one of the properties that we're going to be receiving. So I know it is confusing at start, but don't worry about it. It's just time. It's just a matter of time, to be honest, to get get into all the stuff that we're doing right now. And I know it sounds like kind of difficult. It is. I know at first it is. And oh no, I don't want this. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, at the start it is kind of difficult, but it's just a matter of getting into it, and after that everything is super easy. But yeah, and you can say like, yeah, I can do it the same thing with Streamlit, like in just 1 minute or 2 minutes, and I'll be having the same result. I know you can use Streamlit if you want, if you want to use whatever you want. The cool thing about having React and Tailwind and Next.js, for example, is that we can use this is that we can make more complex UIs than, for example, Streamlit or other frameworks that make easier to pass information, right? And we can actually build the more complex things that look better, to be honest. But yeah, pretty much we have already our cards right here. They're super pretty. And if you don't have like the code or the images, don't worry about it. I'm going to make a new push to the repo so you can see it. So now I'm going to call cards working. And let me just push my changes, confirm all this, and then getting back inside here, right here. And now we have everything that we want. And let me just read the comments. Can you import it with just the arguments props like with React? Yes, I think you can. I think you can actually. To be honest, I don't know if that is a good practice, but I think you can. I'm not really that sure. But yeah, pretty much we have already our cards. What do you think if we just jump again into our code and um, try to display all this stuff in a different way? Like, I don't know, for example, going here, going into our page.tsx, and because we know that we're going to be displaying cards like this, I don't want my cards to being displayed as columns. I want them to be displayed as rows. So let's just open a new div, and yeah, there you go. Yeah, I want that. I really wanted that. Thank you so much, VS Code. I mean, Code Spaces and Copilot. I love it so much. So yeah, pretty much we open just a new div that is going to contain all the cards that we have right here, and we're going to actually be displaying those cards as rows, and we're going to center it horizontally, center it vertically, and we are going to add in a space of 16 pixels to each one of the cards that we have right here. So as you can see here, we have like our cards, but then we have a problem, right? The problem is that we didn't add something that tells, hey, if you find the end of the page, do something with that, right? Confused about where the blah, blah, confused about where the props are getting the actual names, roles, and descriptions. Thank you so much, industrialist. Yeah, thank you so much for helping me. Yeah, basically we generated an array, and that array has it's an array of objects, and each object has the name, role, description, and image um, information for each one of our speakers, right? But now we're facing the problem that our page or our code doesn't have anything to tell like to our code doesn't have anything to tell CSS in our cards like, hey, if you find anything, like if you reach the end of the page, please don't compress yourself to fit inside the same route. Do something for do something instead of doing that. So how we can handle that is going back to our code, going inside this zip that contains all the cards and say, hey, tell your all your elements that if they're find the end of the page, jump to the other route that is um, that is at the, next to the current route that they are. So we can do it by saying wrap, flex wrap, and they should be taking care of the same problem of the problem that we have right here. So as you can see here, we have all our items, and we want our items to be centered. But what happened? So that is why Delva is at the center, and the other ones are like here, right? But it's if we wanted to add something like I don't know that hey, instead of being in the center, just use justify start, and justify start is going um, to center at the to center horizontally, but I mean to make all of our items that horizontally start at the start of our page. It's kind of complicated to explain, but yeah, as you can see here, like now we have Delva being like chilling at the start of our page, right? But yeah, let's just go to use center for all any kind of problems. But yeah, I'm going to go back right here, and I'm going to use center. And now let me share my tab here. And now that we have go here, I'm going to have the same one. And finally, let me add another information like I don't know. Do you have like a favorite technical content creator that we can just take information from it? I don't know. I really like one person called how is it called? Oh my god, I totally forget about this guy. It is called Acerola. Acerola. Yeah, it is Acerola. Acerola. I think it's called Acerola. YouTube. Yeah, there you go. Like this guy is my goat. This guy is a super cool person. If you want to take a look into like his content is like a lot of game development content. It takes a deep dive inside a lot of cool things about like for example how Counter Strike 2 smoke works. How can we implement that smoke inside Unity? The who are filtered, so on, so on. It is super cool. If you want to give it a try, watch its content. It is super cool. Like takes a look into silver automatas, noise to making tower shaders inside Unity and so on. Let me take a look into Jarma 985. Oh wow, cool. So I can assume that he is from video games. Nice. I'm going to give it a try. Looks kind of cool. Nice. Okay, let's just continue with it. If you have another content creator that you want that is a technology content creator, we can take it a look to it. But if not, I'm going to take a look. I'm going to think about. Well, it is easier if we just go here to Next.js Coffee and try to take a look inside the speakers right here. So we have Jared Palmer or Lydia. Lydia, where are you from? You're from Bersel. Okay, so yeah, let's just use Lydia Hado so we can have two males and two females. Okay, so we have we just going to add the Lydia information right here, and let me change this for Lydia, Ali, and put this up and add more information to this. Just copy right here. No, right here. Then the description is going to be this. And the role is what are you, Lilia? Your staff developer advocate at Verso. And now I need to upload the Lydia image right here. And we're almost out of time, so we're going to finish with Lydia image right here. And tomorrow we're going to continue to actually develop dashboard stuff that we can actually use, right? So, okay, now we have passed this, and we need to, oh yeah, this was not what I wanted, right? What I need to do is to add the image. Let me save the image right here. Let me put this right here. Oh, this is Aviv. No, I don't want Aviv format. I want Lydia Ale. Oh yeah, sorry. We're not going to be tomorrow. We're going to be on the next section is on where is first dashboard? It is next Monday. No, it is Tuesday. Next Tuesday. Next Tuesday we're going to take a look into actually implement dashboard things. But now we kind of understand like the first fundamentals that we need to understand about about Next.js and about React and how to implement things here. So let me just change this, Lydia, and let me add Lydia to the page right here. Um, Lydia, I'm sorry, Lydia.jpg, and let's just jump back here and ta-da, we have Lydia being here with all the information that we need. Uh, we have not checked out the differences between Next.js and React. The same ones are what was the difference in React and Next like syntax functions that we create? Like the first one, we have actually not seen that much differences because we have not created new pages or new like backend functions and things like that. Next.js can handle backend functions with something called server functions, and also on syntax they are really similar. But Next.js have something called layouts that we're going to check out the next session, and pretty much I think that no, they are a lot of differences, but today we have not seen any of them. Like we have just saw like fundamentals of React, like components, like um, there are a lot of stuff that we need to talk about, like server-side components, client components, how to use the states and things like that. And let me just push the changes so you have Lydia here, Lydia info. Let me confirm the changes and push everything right here. So we're running out of time. So sorry for that. No, we have a lot of front end changes, like differences, like client components, server components. Uh, how do we fetch data in server components, and how do we fetch data in client components, and a lot of stuff. So unfortunately, we have run out of time, and I don't have enough time to talk about everything. But yeah, there are a lot of differences. We're going to check them out next on the next session, that is on Tuesday. So I'll be seeing you on Tuesday. Thanks so much for being here. So I'm so sorry if I couldn't help someone to fix their problems, or if I'm making a mess with like the explanations and all the stuff. I will try to make my best next time. And thanks so much for being here. So next up, you're going to jump with let me check. You're going to jump with saying that is going to have an introduction to analog and digital audio data. So have fun with Sane and try to learn a lot with digital and audio data. So I'll see you next time. So thanks, Matt, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.